Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotar Shata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotar Shata Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन की जय। नवद्वीप की जय। मथुरा की जय। जगन्नाथ धाम की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। जमुना माई की जय। गंगा माई की जय। समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the Son of the Glories. All glories to the Son of the Glories. All glories to the Son of the Glories. All glories to Shri Guru and the Holy Guru. Namaste, Namaste, Haya. Ito Nrsimha Bharato Nrsimho Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsimha Hare Nrsimho Hare Nrsimho Nrsimha Madhim Sharanam Bhakti Savakara Kamala Lord Singh ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama. It's too stuffy in here. Those windows. Not hot enough to kick on the air conditioning, but it's stuffy, not pretty stuffy. Hare Krishna. Start the introduction first, page 1. Avagana Pramadasya Jnana Jaladya Sakumrita Ninatasmane Shukade Namaha Iti Chaitanya Mahavishya, Patitam Yasakale, Tamam Kakare Maya, Gati I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. Offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who established within this material world the mission of fulfilled desire and Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Parakam Alam Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupa Sagarjatram Sahagana Rahuna Navikam Sasachevam Savetam Sahutam Parajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Param Sahagana Alita Sri Vishka Svastanisha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother, Nath Goswami, as well as Raghunath Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Goswami, and Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadhar, Srivasa, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates, Sri Lalita and Vishakya. Hey Krishna, Mon-Sun, you know, Mando, Dante, Gopisha, Gopika, Kankarada, Oh, my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distress and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapatam shana karangi rade, vidastastade, Devi pranamani hare priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose body complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vishvanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Pancha kapata rupascha, kripa sindhu priyastevascha, patitanam bhagavad Vaishnavayo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadhar, Sri Vasta Gaur Bhaktinanda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So yeah, we're in chapter 12, devotional service. I have marked it text 20. Is that where we left off at?
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay. Okay, so we're on the right track. Sometimes I lose my place here on this one here. Okay, text 20. Yetu dharmanyam trankidam yato kirtam paryapasate shradada annamat parama bhaktyaste diva me priyaha. He who follows this imperishable path of devotional service, who completely engages himself with faith, making me the supreme goal, is very, very dear to me. And this will start a new chapter, chapter 13. Nature, the enjoyer of consciousness. Text 1 and 2. Arjuna Vacha Prakritim Purusham Shaiva Shiksha Shikshagyam Evacha Ita Vidatum Ichami Yanam Yeyam Cha Keshava Sri Bhagavan Vacha Idam Sarvam Vatanteya Drishtam Iti Adi Vidyante Itayo Vidyam Rahu Sitra Kya Iti Ka Vidha. Is the Eric taking on now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Translation. Arjuna said, "Oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, the field of the knower of the field, and of the knowledge and the end of knowledge." The blessed Lord then said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field. The one who knows this body is called the knower of the field." Text 3. Translation. O Sky and Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower and all bodies, and to understand this body and its owner is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Text 4. Tatshitam yaksha yatripcha yadikari yaksha yaya Prabhavascha Tatsamishina Me Trinu. Translation. Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is accomplished. When it changes, what it changes are whence it's produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what influences are. Bahuda Kitam Chando Bahir Vidiyahai Pritak Brahma Sutra Panishaja Itilam Bahir Nishitaha. Translation. That knowledge of the field of activities and the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings, especially in Vedanta Sutra, and presented with a reasoning as to cause and effect. Text 6 and 7. Mahabhutani anakaro udirayatam ivascha indrayami dasyatyamsha Raksha Sindriya Dotara Icha Devasha Dukam Sangata Chaitana Viktati Etat Sitram Samasena Sagikaram Udakritam. Translation. The 5 elements, pulse, ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, the mind, the 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, and the agitated, the life symptoms and convictions, all these are considered in summary to be the field of activity and its interactions. Text 8 through 12. Amanikam adam bikram ahisha shirajaram acharyam asam sacham shariryam nama vidyarha indraya takhishu paradyam anahanakara igacha samaya virjara veyahi dukkha Dosanudashashanam Asaktir Anabhishvasva Abhya Uchadara Vidatsisu Nityam Shasama Chitalam Ishtashishu Maya Chanaya Yena, Bhakti Vicharni, Vidita Deshi, Sevitam, Arita Jana Samsari, Ayatma Yana Nityatam, Tattva Jana Darshanam, Etachyananti Pratam, Ajnanya Atto Niyata. Translation: humility, righteousness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of the sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, non-attachment to children, wife, home, and rest, and in even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant, unalloyed devotion to me, resorting to solitary places, detaching from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I thus declare to be knowledge, and what is contrary to these is ignorance. And Text 20, chapter 12. Forgive me, I'm fighting off a cold, so I'm not quite with it tonight. Text 20, translation. He who follows this imperishable path of devotional service, and who completely engages himself with faith, making this beneath the supreme goal, is very, very dear to me. Purport by His divine grace, says Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In this chapter, the religion of eternal engagement, the explanation of the process of transcendental service for approaching the Supreme Lord, is given. This process is very dear to the Lord, and He accepts a person who is engaged in such a process. The question is who is better, one who is engaged in the path of personal Brahman, one who is engaged in the personal service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was raised by Arjuna. And the Lord replied to him so explicitly that there is no doubt that devotional service to the Personality of Godhead is the best of all processes of spiritual realization. In other words, in this chapter it is decided that through good association one develops attachment for pure devotional service, and thereby accepts a bona fide spiritual master. And from him begins to hear and chant and observe the regular principles of devotional service with faith. Attachment and devotion, and thus becomes engaged in transcendental service to the Lord. This path is recommended in this chapter. Therefore, there is no doubt that devotional service is the only absolute path of self-realization, the attainment of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The impersonal conception of the Supreme Absolute Truth is described in this chapter and recommended only up to the time one surrenders himself to self-realization. In other words, as long as one does not have the chance to associate with a pure devotee, the impersonal conception may be beneficial. The impersonal conception of the Absolute Truth, one works without further result, meditates and cultivates knowledge to understand spirit matter. This is necessary as long as one is not in the association with a pure devotee. Fortunately, if one develops directly a desire to engage in Krishna consciousness and pure devotional service, it does not need to undergo step-by-step improvements in spiritual realization. Devotional service is described in the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is more congenial. One need not bother about materials to keep body and soul together, because by the grace of the Lord, everything is carried out automatically. He who follows this imperishable path of devotional service, who completely engages himself with faith, making me the supreme goal, is very, very dear to me. This is what the Bhagavad Gita is pointing to time after time again. Devotional service. That's what we're training ourselves to do. To have our mind on Krishna at all times, be in service to Him. This is help done through the association of the devotees. Association of devotees is very important. It's very hard to make spiritual advancement without this kind of association, without the association of spiritual master, without the association of these books, the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya, all these things we associate with in our devotional service. We associate with deities, paraphernalia. All these things are giving us spiritual enhancement. All these things are meant to keep our mind upon Krishna. We're trying to divert our senses and retrain our mind. Because our mind is so used to, in this material world, to be on material things all the time. The time that we are born or growing up, generally thinking, well, what am I going to eat? When am I going to sleep? What am I going to do to play next? Our mind is always jumping from one activity to another. So it's very hard to tame the mind because it's had millions of lifetimes of jumping around, chasing after sense gratification. Prabhupada brought this wonderful program to the West. We're continually engage our senses in devotional service. We try to stop engaging our material senses in nonsense and use our senses for Krishna. Every aspect of it. Our sight, sense of sight. We're seeing the deities. We're reading the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. We see Prabhupada. We see all these nice, beautiful paintings of Krishna, his associates. Our sense of sight is being utilized, being spiritualized, being used in Krishna service. Our sense of smell. Smell the incense that's being offered. Smell the flower that's being offered. Our sense of smell is being utilized in Krishna consciousness, being spiritualized, and not used for nonsensical things, these material things in this world. Our sense of hearing. We're hearing the kirtan, hearing the music, hearing the cartels, hearing the Radanga beat, hearing the Bhagavad Gita class, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam class, hearing the words of the spiritual master, hearing the prayers daily, hearing the Maha Mantra. Our sense of hearing being spiritualized and used in Krishna service. Our sense of touch, even our sense of touch. We touch the paraphernalia, deity paraphernalia. We touch the books. I like to eat with my fingers because then I'm touching the prasadam, that wonderful prasadam, that mercy that's been offered to Krishna. He's been blessed. So I'm able to use my sense of touch when I'm eating. Sense of taste as well. It's being utilized when we're only eating and drinking things that's been offered to Krishna first. It turns into prasadam. So we have this wonderful program that's spiritualizing all of our senses. And it's very important that we spiritualize our senses because everything else, it's binding. It's a binding attachment to this world. When we employ our senses and sense gratification and material objects, it binds us karmically to this world. Good karma, bad karma, doesn't matter. It's all binding. It's all entanglement. But when we are surrendered, especially here in the temple life, or where we spend all of our time in service, it's really nice because all of our senses are being totally engaged each and every day, every single moment, in service to Krishna. This is our way out of this world of Maya, this samsara, recycle of birth and death and rebirth. Is this world, well, the happiness of the material world is very empty. It's not satisfying. It's a fleeting moment. Just as soon as you scheme and work hard and get to that moment that you work for that little dose of happiness, you grab it and poof, it's gone already. You gotta start all over again. We're continually in this material world trying to make ourselves comfortable, trying to make our environment just right. From the temperature we have in the room, to the aromas that we have, to what we're seeing around us. Many of us need entertainment, so there's so many people that need to have that television on when they go home. I don't know what to do if that television isn't on. So it's so important in this day and age, because sense gratification is on demand. It's everywhere you go. I visited my parents a few days ago for a few days, flying out to them down in Florida. It amazes me, going through these airports. It's like sense gratification on demand. All these stores, it's like a mini mall now inside of airports. You have the gift shops, you have all these different food shops, you have all these different little bars throughout the airport. You even have these chairs that you put quarters in, to get massages on. Sense gratification on demand. It's amazing. And you get on the plane, and what's right there in front of you? These screens now in the back of the chair. You can put in for a movie, or watch a TV show, or play a game on these screens. It's right there in your face now. This is what replaced the ashtrays on the planes. That's why it's important to get out on Harinam. Get out on book distribution. There are so many souls that are lost in this dream, this world of Maya, that are just chewing the chew, not realizing that all the sense gratification leads to nowhere, leads to emptiness. And as soon as the TV stops, as soon as the music stops, as soon as all their sense gratification comes to an end, they're left with emptiness. All it takes is the power going out, after, during a thunderstorm, for people to realize just how empty they are. And there's no power, no TV, no entertainment on demand. I move on to the next chapter. Text 1 and 2. Translation. Arjuna said, "Oh, my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field of the knower of the field, and of the knowledge and the end of knowledge." The blessed Lord then said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field." Purport. Arjuna was inquisitive about Prakriti, or nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, Kshetra, the field, Kshetragya, its knower, and the knowledge of the object of knowledge. When he inquired about all these, Krishna said that this body is called the field, and that one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. This body is the field of activity for the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul is entrapped in material existence. He attempts to lord over material nature. And so, according to his capacity to dominate material nature, he gets a field of activity. That field of activity is the body. And what is the body? The body is made of senses. The conditioned soul wants to enjoy sense gratification, and according to his capacity to enjoy sense gratification, he is offered a body, or field of activity. Therefore, the body is called Kshetra, or the field of activity for the conditioned soul. Now, the person who does not identify himself with the body is called a Kshetragya. Did I say that right? Kshetragya? What? Kshetragya. The knower of the field. That JN always gets me. Kshetragya. Knower of the field. It's not very difficult to understand the difference between the field and its knower, and the body and the knower of the body. Any person can consider that from childhood to old age, he undergoes so many changes of the body, and yet still is still one person remaining. Thus, there is a difference between the knower of the field of activities and the astral field of activities. A living conditioned soul can thus understand that he is different from the body. It is described in the beginning, that the living entity is within the body, and that body is changing from childhood to boyhood, and from boyhood to youth, and from youth to old age. And that person who owns the body knows that the body is changing. The owner is distinctly Satyagyan. Sometimes we understand that I am happy, I am mad, I am woman, I am dog, I am a cat, and these are the knowers. The knower is different from the field. Although we use many articles, our clothes, etc., we know that we are different from these things, from the things used. Similarly, we also understand by a little contemplation that we are different from the body. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the knower of the body, the living entity, and the position by which he can understand the Supreme Lord are described. The middle 6 chapters of the Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the relationship between the individual soul and the super soul in regard to devotional service are described. The superior position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the subordinate position of the individual soul are definitely defined in this chapter, in these chapters. Living entities are subordinate under all circumstances, but in their approach the Supreme Lord in different capacities. What do I say that? Living entities are subordinate under all circumstances, but their forgetfulness, they are suffering. When enlightened by pious activities, they approach the Supreme Lord in different capacities, as the distressed, those in want of money, inquisitive, and those in search of knowledge. That is also described. Now, starting with the 13th chapter, how the living entity comes into contact with material nature, how he is delivered by the Supreme Lord through the different methods of fruitive activities, cultivation of knowledge, and discharge devotional service, are explained. Although the living entity is completely different from the material body, he somehow becomes related, this is also explained. Oh yeah, we are not the body. We are just, we're just in the body right now. Much like when I go out and do my errands, I get into the van, turn on the van, drive the van around. I'm not the van. Same thing with material body, or soul, or spirit, or jiva. You know, it's just occupying this body right now. And the body's continually changing. I definitely don't have the same body I did when I was 7. I wish I did. I'd be in a lot less pain half the time. Jeez. Less arthritis. Be able to jump around and do somersaults. Go ride a bike and, crash and boom, be right back up on my feet again, without any worries. Gosh, if I could crash on a bike nowadays, boy, I might be out for a few days. But yeah, we are not this body, because the body is continually changing. From youth to old age. And the body that you receive as you're getting older is definitely not the same body, that you have now. I spent some time working as a caregiver, as a resident assistant at a elderly home. Basically, it was a place where people went to wait to die. That's pretty much the home. I had to get certified in CPR on first day, but everyone there was a do not resuscitate, so I'm not quite sure what I got the CPR for. But yeah, it's working a job like that, and working along with individuals that at that stage of life. Most of them were, 80 and beyond. Had a few residents that were, over 100. It was very interesting. And they wish they had the younger bodies they once had. They always complain about the pains and aches and just how much your current body, just giving out. So it's important to remember that we're not this body. We're just the caretakers for now.
I think it's also important in that context to acknowledge that our bodies should be our gods.
Yeah. Well, I got a great plan for you if you want the body to be your God. See, this plan is great. You give me a lot of money, and when you die, we'll cremate you, save your ashes, and when science catches up, we'll bring you back to life. This is my future business. I'm sure I could find a few rich people that's willing to do this, because Walt Disney got himself frozen for the same deal, that one day science will catch up and they could bring him back to life.
Well, it's also a culture that doesn't acknowledge that we are reborn continuously.
Yeah.
What will inhabit that genetic scam that's a whole.
Yeah, it's a lot of the Western culture most of the Western culture does not adopt this concept of, reincarnation, the samsara. They get it from the modern day Christianity, which they believe there's only one life. And it's interesting when I was doing a thorough study of Judaism and Christianity. You come across a lot of Orthodox Jews that believe in reincarnation. They say, well, it doesn't, because the Old Testament doesn't really talk about, heaven and hell. It doesn't really talk much about the afterlife at all.
My church actually acknowledges reincarnation and that Christ has been other people that are mentioned in the Bible.
What denomination is that?
I'm Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints.
Oh, okay, Mormons.
Yep.
Okay.
We don't go by that name anymore. It's very
Oh yeah. Latter-day Saints. Yeah. Actually, I have some really good friends who are Latter-day Saints, and the Mormons are always fun to preach to because they always love to preach back to us. But it's always very pleasant conversations with Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, my church is on this pivotal recognition point where there's a reality that you don't have to bring everyone to the church, and that there are many other religions where people will end up where we're trying to end up, and that it's a low percentage in the church, but it's starting to awaken.
Yeah, there's a few Christian denominations that are coming to that platform where they are recognizing that there's more than one pathway to God.
It's the interfaith platform.
Yeah. I know recently the Catholic Church has made some concessions and to the point where they say that there's other platforms to get to God. But yeah, it's very interesting, because for a long time, the Christianity really pushed, there's only one way, and
that was not Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, that was not Krishna consciousness. But yeah, as I was saying, Krishna has provided so many ways to have a relationship with them. And all these other religions out there, these are just other platforms that Krishna has provided to attract people to him.
The theory that I stumbled upon with as many things as I've studied is that, I don't know if you've ever heard about the Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel, yes.
Yeah, so the Tower in Babylon, they're building to reach to heaven, and it got knocked down, and then suddenly everybody speaks a different language. And a lot of people don't understand that wasn't just a physical battle that happened, that was a spiritual, that was a mental, that was emotional. And in doing so, the one world kind of idea of religion and belief system became thousands. And so they are all the same, but people don't know how to translate themselves.
Yeah, many different names for God. Still one God.
How many reincarnations are there of Krishna that we know of?
Oh, incarnations of Krishna?
Yeah.
See here. Hey, Prabhu,
Yeah,
how many incarnations of Krishna do we have? I know
there's an unlimited amount, but the Srimad Bhagavatam discusses about 14 of the incarnations.
yeah.
And in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a chapter called Krishna is the source of all incarnations. And it describes Lord Rama and Lord Shrinivas, Srila Vyasadeva, Narada Muni is mentioned there, Balaram and Krishna, Vamandev.
It's a limited amount of incarnations of Krishna. Yeah, Srimad Bhagavatam really gets into like 14 of them. But basically, anything that's the most of, like the greatest of, that's considered a representation of Krishna.
Yeah, do you have the TV on?
No.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe if you had a chance to put on the chapter for first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna is the source of all.
We can try.
Well, in my studies, there's at least like 10 that I can identify.
Oh, yeah, it's called Das Avatar.
Yeah.
There's 10. Yeah. There's Ravi Goswami. He also wrote
Here, it starts right here. Chapter 2, text 6. First of all, in the beginning of creation.
Feel a microphone to read that in?
Yeah.
That Christian is the source of all information.
Yeah.
So I think a better phrase of what I was saying is that at least 10 characters in the Bible are all versions of Christ. Which would be different versions of Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I don't know what your 10 are. I'd love to see what your 10 are. That would be amazing to make some comparisons.
You want me to search it up?
Hmm?
You want me to search it up?
Just that verse that we were.
Okay. All right. So this is where it starts. It goes on for a while, but it starts by saying this form. No, that's the wrong one. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the 4 unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumars, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. In the millennium of the Rishis, the personality of God had accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devarshi Narada, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. In the 4th incarnation, the Lord became Nara and Narayan, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus he undertook severe and exemplary penances to control the senses. The 5th incarnation, named Lord Kapila, is foremost among perfect beings. He gave an exposition of the creative elements and metaphysics to Asuri Brahmana, for in course of time this knowledge had been lost. The 6th incarnation of the Purusha was these are all the manifestations of Mahavishnu, the biggest incarnation of Krishna. Sage, the 6th incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anasuya, who prayed for incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Larka, Prahlad, and others, Yadu, Haihai, etc. The 7th incarnation was Yagya, the son of Prajapati Ruchi, and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the change of the Swayambhuva Manu and was assisted by demigods such as his son Yama. And it just goes on and on with this.
Yes.
So what book is that?
I'll show you.
That's in the stream of Bhagavatam.
So the twins, how often do you divide twins?
Oh, yeah, there's a scheduled incarnation. It's called Yuga Avatars, Leela Avatars. So the next avatar that's scheduled to come will come at the end of the age of Kali Yuga, so about another 4 million years. And his name is Lord Kapi. Right? Recently, within the past 30 years, when things were getting kind of weird and heavy, a lot of people were trying to say that Lord Kapi's coming, it's the end of the world, it's the end of the Kali Yuga. And I said, well, no, we got 4 million years to go.
Is it 400,000 years?
We got to live or die with it.
Is it 400,000 years in Kali Yuga?
400,000
Yeah.
years? Yeah, so Lord Kapi will still be covered about another 400,000 years.
Yeah, we're only like 5,000 years into Kali Yuga.
Right, because Lord Chaitanya's avatar was predicted, it's mentioned. And so if it's not in the Shastra, and the person says, meditate and become God, like I did, or like Jesus did, or like Sri Krishna did, or whatever, the point of the fact of the matter is they didn't meditate and become God. They already were God. But they get mystic cities, and then they proclaim themselves to be an avatar. So because of it's not scheduled avatar, because we know like when Brahma was born, and how many days of his year, and how many years, right? And there's the day of Brahma. After the day of Brahma, Brahma again creates the universe after his night again, in a partial devastation. So this takes place every day, 365 days a year for 100 Brahma years. So we're talking about annihilation and creation, annihilation and creation. Right? And then the final annihilation of the entire universe within the whole Mahatma. So we've got it all explained, you know, it's all very systematically presented, you know, the creation and when the avatars are coming, you know, the duration of the ages of the yugas, along with their descriptions, you know, so, you know, we have a lot of information about it.
So an interesting piece in timing in like the Bible, because a lot of people never really put this together, but if you go into Psalms, it talks about how a day to the Lord is but 1,000 years to us. So
Right,
like
yeah.
his timing and our timing being so different. Yeah. It's
Right,
really
yeah, you
interesting.
go into the material universes. They got the Hubble telescope and the James Webb telescope, and they're looking out there and seeing a whole bunch of stuff out there. But apparently they haven't found any life yet. But apparently there's graded realms. We're not, Prabhupada wrote a book called Easy Journey to Higher Planets. And he wrote it in 1958, I think 58, 59, I was close. Prabhupada took some mess. But he stated that you can't go to other planets and enter into the society of the planets by coarse, gross, mechanical methods. The reason why he wrote this is because the Russians had just sent a Sputnik, right, a satellite into space. So this is like a new thing, right? So they had plans on going to other planets, explore for life, go to the moon. But what he was thinking, what we see is according to our relative perspective, and the universe is past that way. We don't think life there. But the point of the fact of the matter is, there's life that's out in another dimension. So the higher planetary systems are definitely planetary. Their one day is our 6 months. And even higher than that, their one day is like 100,000 years, our years. You know, if you go higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, it depends on how far into the veils or the heavens you go up and lower, and yeah, time changes.
Right.
Well, that's our time for class today. Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
jai.
Sorry I distracted the class, but